At 82 years old, my friend Margaret had lived a full life. She had raised children, built a home filled with memories, and navigated the ups and downs that come with growing older. Yet, despite all her experience, one decision continued to weigh heavily on her heart: the choice to move into a nursing home. In her earlier years, Margaret believed that aging gracefully meant staying in the comfort of one's own home, surrounded by familiar routines, neighbors, and the echoes of a life well lived. But when her health began to decline and her family expressed growing concerns for her safety, the nursing home seemed like the practical choice. Her children assured her that she would be well taken care of, that this was the best way to protect her health and ensure she was never alone. The idea of constant care, companionship, and a safe environment seemed reasonable. Trusting their intentions, she agreed. What followed, however, was a reality she had not anticipated. Life inside the nursing home was not the peaceful retreat she had imagined. Instead, it brought a slow, steady erosion of the freedoms and dignities she once took for granted. Margaret soon found herself confined not only by walls, but by rigid schedules, unfamiliar surroundings, and a deepening sense of invisibility. The independence she had once cherished slipped away, and with it, a vital piece of who she was. This is Margaret's story, but it could be anyone's. Before making such a life-altering decision, she wishes more people truly understood what lies ahead. In this video, we share 6 heartfelt regrets from her experience, not to instill fear, but to offer insight, caution, and hope. Because sometimes the hardest choices come disguised as the most sensible ones. If you're currently thinking about moving into a nursing home or helping someone you care about make that choice, you might believe it's the safest or most convenient option. But before you make that leap, I want to share 6 eye-opening lessons I wish I had known beforehand. Life in a nursing facility isn't just a change of address. It transforms everything. And once you enter, leaving isn't as simple as packing up. Please stay until the end. These insights might help you or someone close to you make a truly informed decision. Regret number 1: losing my independence. What shocked me most wasn't the small room or the routine meals. It was losing the freedom to live life on my own terms. Before, I woke up when I wanted, made my own meals, strolled outside whenever I felt like it, but in the nursing home, everything was scheduled. Meals came at fixed times, lights out followed a strict routine, and even going for a walk required approval and assistance. Choices I used to make every day, what to wear, what to eat, felt like privileges I had to ask for. I remember waking up my first week there and reaching for a familiar book, only to realize the room wasn't mine. The things that gave me comfort, my chair, my books, were gone. Gradually, I gave up fighting the schedule. You adapt, you stop asking, and in doing so, you slowly lose parts of who you are. So ask yourself, are you prepared to give up the daily freedoms that define your life? Because once they're gone, you'll feel the loss more deeply than you expect. Regret number 2: feeling forgotten. One of the hardest parts, realizing life outside goes on, and you're no longer part of it. When I moved in, my family promised to visit, and for a while, they did. But as time passed, visits became phone calls, and holidays turned into quiet days alone. Not because they stopped caring. Life simply got busy. The longer I stayed, the easier it became for people to assume I was fine. But inside, I felt increasingly invisible. I remember holding my phone one night, debating whether to call my son, afraid to be a burden. In that moment, it hit me. I was waiting, hoping to be remembered. If you're considering this move, think carefully about the emotional cost. Even if your family loves you, it's easy to be forgotten when you're not in their daily lives. Regret number 3, losing my sense of purpose. I thought moving to a nursing home was just a change of scenery, but it also changed my reason for waking up each day. At home, I had things to do, making coffee, watering plants, tidying up. It all gave me a reason to move, to care, to stay engaged. But in the home, those tasks disappeared. Meals were provided, rooms were cleaned. There was nothing left that felt truly mine to look after. At first, I welcomed the rest, but soon the days blurred together. I watched others, once full of life, sit silently for hours. Take George, for example. He was a carpenter, always busy. But without tools or projects, his hands sat idle. "I feel useless," he once said, and I knew exactly what he meant. Without something meaningful to do, life begins to feel empty. So ask yourself, what gives you purpose? Because once you move in, you'll need to fight to keep it. Regret number 4. My health declined faster than expected. Before moving in, I was fairly active. I could walk, cook, manage my routines. But in the nursing home, I stopped doing those things. Meals arrived ready. Assistance was a call button away. It was convenient. But slowly I moved less. My legs stiffened, muscles weakened. Simple actions like getting out of a chair became difficult. I saw it in others too. People who walked in became wheelchair users within months. My neighbor Alice once walked daily. But over time she used a walker, then a chair. "I feel like I aged a decade," she told me. In places designed for ease, it's easy to lose your strength without even realizing it. If I could go back, I'd make a greater effort to stay active, because once you slow down, it's hard to get moving again. Regret number 5, losing privacy and dignity. At home, I had personal space. In the nursing home, that vanished. People came and went from my room. Privacy was minimal. Even showering or using the restroom often required assistance. I knew staff were doing their jobs, but it's tough needing help with things you've done your whole life. And not everyone gets a private room. Some share with strangers, which can be frustrating or even distressing. Even something as small as choosing your meals isn't guaranteed. I didn't realize how much of my dignity I'd give up until it was already gone. If you're thinking about this choice, consider how much privacy and self-direction you're willing to lose. It changes how you see yourself. Regret number 6. It's harder to leave than you think. When I first arrived, I thought it was temporary. I told myself I'd try it out, and if I didn't like it, I'd leave. But leaving isn't so easy. My house had been left empty. My family began making changes. They weren't sure I could manage on my own anymore. And honestly, after months of less movement and more assistance, neither was I. The longer you stay, the harder it is to go back, physically, financially, and emotionally. Some people lose the option entirely once their home is sold or their savings run out. Moving in may feel like a reversible decision, but for most, it's not. So ask yourself, are you ready for the possibility that going back might not be possible. Final thoughts. Aging isn't something I regret, but I do regret assuming a nursing home was my only choice. I entered expecting comfort and care, but instead lost much of what made me feel alive. That doesn't mean nursing homes are always bad. For some, they are necessary. But don't make the decision lightly. If I had the chance to do it again, I'd look harder for in-home help, explore alternatives, and hold on to my independence for as long as possible. So before you take that step, ask yourself, is this truly the best decision or just the most convenient one? Your freedom, your habits, your sense of self, they're worth protecting.